Today, DesignSource and Opticom are hosting a breakfast for all our partners, clients, and consultants, and we'll be addressing security, safety, and accessibility in building science.
Opticom, we are an organization that does security, integrated security systems. We are 3 companies. We have Opticom, we have OptiWatch, and we have OptiSafe. Opticom, this is where it's the hardware part of the business, whereby we can install the latest systems, of which the most important, they can be monitored from a central place. OptiSafe, this is where we offer integrated safety solutions. We offer the audits, we offer training, we offer the managed services and project safety management. OptiWatch, this is where now we have the wall. This is just a bit of how the wall looks like. This is where all your security systems can be handled in one center. This is a cycle. We start with the feasibility planning. What do you want to do? We are able to assess the security element of even before you start thinking of the building. Yeah? We need to assess the 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer radius. We'll give you a whole feasibility on security. And so this is where we sit with you and start planning. And so we do the detailed planning, and we do the planning, we do the design. So by the time we are through with you, yes, we are trying to achieve your objective, but at this point, we have achieved your objective and put the design element in the whole process. So you realize we are not talking about cameras. We are talking about at the planning stage of your building, of the planning stage of what you are trying to do. So cameras come at the end of the process. We decided we need to start speaking to the architects, we need to start speaking to project managers, so that design security can be thought of at the stage of design. This is where we have found a challenge in a lot of buildings in this country, that security is always an afterthought.
Crime prevention through environmental design comes in at the design stage. For those people who are doing projects, whether it's gated community, whether you're doing a church, a school, your residential, people who are part of our residential security associations, you will be interacting with security and safety in all your aspects. Why? Because we all want a quality lifestyle. Every time I talk to people, I keep on asking them, what do you think is good security? As you look at a shopping mall, a gated community, a hospital, when you walk into Pan-Afric Serena, what's good security? Good security, when we come to how it is designed and worked out, will have physical aspects, what we call physical security, what you can see. People will see perimeter fence, people will see cameras, people will see guards, okay? And there will be other aspects of security that are not visible. So, when we do that layered process, you will see a guard, the guard will do inspections, but there is cameras behind it. There will be other surveillance and patrol systems that are not visible. There will be other means of detecting and monitoring what exactly those layers are doing. So that integrated approach in the design is what we are discussing. Because if you don't get it right, you end up with a soft target.
So we're going to look at accessibility of design in the design of buildings as something that adds to the safety and security of buildings altogether. So in the literal terms, accessibility has to do with the ease of obtaining, understanding, and appreciating a space. So with relation to architecture, we're looking at how easy, how convenient, how safe, and how secure is it to approach, enter, and use a space within a building. So ensure that your buildings can be able to tap into the existing networks for accessibility. How easily can people be able to spot your building? How easily can they be able to navigate to your building location? And what impact does your building have in the environment in terms of security and safety? So that's looking at your immediate environment and designing for it.
The key thing we are trying to communicate here is it is part of a process. Security and safety are not just at the end, the way we do it and say, put a camera here, put a camera here. So there is a great conversation that regards security and safety. The other issue that we want to also stress is the issue of accessibility, especially for people living with disabilities. I think all of us sitting here, if starting with us as architects, you as developers and consultants, need to do a bit more to accommodate people living with disabilities.
One of the biggest hindrances of security is the cost, because security has become very, very expensive. Even in church, if I would speak about church, because that is the area that I am familiar with, where you have 1,000 people every Sunday coming in together in a very short span of time. Just the whole even surveillance system, etc., has become expensive. Perhaps from a security point of view, there is a balance between it being a business and making it also affordable and accessible to everybody. Is this an area that you're concerned and you're addressing to ensure that everybody embraces security? Because perhaps some of the reasons why people will not think security in design stage, etc., is the cost.
The only thing about security is because we never thought about it properly, it's not properly structured in the design and incorporated in whatever that we do, then when we start plugging in all these things, then it becomes expensive. Now, let's use a case example of man guarding, where everybody is using guards today. And they come up and tell you to have a guard, it will cost you 30,000, 40,000 bob, okay? But are you going to get the value that you're looking at from just having a human being? What about if instead of 30 guards, you only had 10, and you have your cameras, you have your surveillance systems integrated with it? It becomes more effective, it becomes more efficient and effective and cost-effective. It's the design. It's the way we think about it, it's the way we cost about it. It's the way we get the balance out of it.
It relates to houses of worship, but more so buildings that that have mass public traffic on a daily basis, and how security balances with cost efficiency. So there are various aspects of security, and most people look at the hardware part of it. The surveillance and all that. But there are other parts of security which we use the phase approach. So a phased approach means we give you the entire security spectrum on what suits your house of worship or an educational or a government facility. Then you plan for it. There is training, there is behavioral safety, there is behavioral security, there are internal audits, things that you're not thinking of as security, but they are part of security and enhance the security and target hardening or activity support in your organizations.
I'm very interested in the access control, and I've just realized from the discussions today that a lot of the access control or the security measures that we put in place are usually a function of the M&E, of the mechanical, electrical engineer. and they are not exactly authorities in this, in whatever they're supposed to be doing. So a lot of our buildings, we will say we will have access control this type, but we don't exactly know what we're doing. Because a lot of the developers would not know about, say, optical. They would just build and know that the architect will appoint an M&D, and the M&D will take care of that. So my point was, you need to do a little bit more to sensitize the developers.
A security consultant, just to explain, is an independent guy. He does not, and he's not attempting to sell you a product. He's basically helping you to design what fits your budget, what fits your system, what fits your threat levels. That's what he's attempting to do. As opposed to somebody when he comes in with a fixed mind that he's selling this particular system. So he has a good idea of what good security is. He has got a good idea of what kind of risks and threats that your organization will be facing. He will also be helping you to review as your security levels change.
I think it's a very good discussion that has happened today, and I just want to applaud Emma and your team. Just thinking of designing out crime, the thoughts that happen before we go into buildings, before we design, with architects, engineers, I think it's extremely crucial. Also, during construction and post-construction, you'll see the benefits are there in terms of cost reduction, in terms of efficiencies, in what you then have use of your buildings and what you do.
So I'd like to give a vote of thanks to all of you for coming. Thank you all, our friends and clients, fellow consultants, developers who are here, who answered our call to attend this breakfast. And just to open up this discussion, it doesn't end here. Feel free to send questions and your thoughts.